I get this awesome newsletter every once in a while from the Othering and Belonging Institute out in California. I think they're out of University of California at Berkeley. They're somewhere in Berkeley anyway. And their newsletter this month is really inspired me to think about my work and my relationship with work and everyone's relationship with work. And that's really changing right now because people are fucking fed up and they've had enough and they're not going to take it anymore. This is the newsletter that I got. And these practices for developing care for yourself, care for your needs, care and honor for those who teach you, care for nature, care for your friends and for others. One of the pieces of wisdom from an individual, Christina Wong, is that dignity in labor is a public health strategy. Very powerful way of saying that your work is important and that your work has an impact on your happiness. So I'm going to invite you to do a little awareness meditation around that now. So if you'd like to close your eyes, go ahead and take a couple deep breaths. Start to anchor your awareness down into your body. And now think about my work. Say those words to yourself. My labor or my work. And what feelings come up? Is there joy? Is there momentum? Is there gratitude? Is there power? Is there a feeling of being humble? Of being part of something bigger than you? And what about the negatives? Is there judgment? How about not being enough or not doing enough? And now I invite you to picture a few of the people in your life. How about your parents, your partner, your friends? What about a boss or a supervisor, clients? How about coworkers? Pick one of those that seems especially charged and think about that person and say the words, my labor or my work. And what feelings do you think that person has, or what feelings are between you? What feelings come up in you? Is it a feeling of support and a feeling of love, a feeling of creating space or allowing you to do it your way, to do things the way that you need to? Or is there a feeling of judgment or lack or inferiority? Is there a feeling of intimidation or the threat of scarcity? Do you feel that your image or your respect or your dignity is being held captive, or that your money is being held captive, or that your time is being held captive to leverage or to corral you into behaving a certain way or doing things a certain way, or maybe doing things that you really don't want to do? And now, being aware of all those feelings that you have, I'd like you to ask yourself, how much of those feelings, how much of those thoughts, how much of those are authentically what the other person is feeling, thinking, doing? And how much of those are your creation that you're putting on those individuals and that may exist only in your mind? It's okay if it's unclear or if there's some of both. Or if you don't know, that's fine. Being with the feelings, simply being with the feelings, that's enough of a start. And now I recommend that you restore a feeling of safety or a feeling of love or allowing. So let's do that now. So I want you to say the words to yourself, my work or my labor. And I want you to picture yourself at your job or at your work. And I'd like you to imagine that you're doing your work in a way or at a pace or on a scale or in exchange for a certain amount of money or within a certain amount of time that supports you. Enough money, having enough time for yourself after the job is done, getting the respect that you need from yourself for doing a good job, seeing a little bit of the creativity, no matter how small, in your work, and practicing a little bit of gratitude, just a little bit. See if you can cultivate a little gratitude for your work that's there to support you, to teach you something, even if it's hard, even if there's a lack of dignity, even if there's intimidation or negative things. Gratitude that you have a starting place and some place to grow from here. And if your job is really just filled with negative experiences, I suggest that you see yourself working or creating at something that you love, that you want to do. It can be as wild or as far out as some of the things my friends have said to me are things such as metallurgy or working with one's hands, tanning natural leather, repairing and building small boats. Could be being an author or learning to build a home. Perhaps an artist or a musician. It might be being a counselor or a therapist or helping people. It could be a job where you're alone and you have solitude. Or you could be working with animals, or you could be designing user experiences. Whatever you feel is fun for you. Whatever you feel a resonance with, whatever you feel called for. Imagine yourself sitting and doing that work and feel the feeling that comes up in you for that work. The feeling of joy and happiness that comes up for you in that work. That feeling that you have is a real feeling in you, and it's a feeling that you can have in your work, always. That doesn't mean it'll be easy in all contexts, but joy is something we can experience in our work. Maybe you need to change something about your work. You know what it is, probably. Your higher self knows what it is. Maybe you need to draw some boundaries. Perhaps you need to change something in the power dynamic at work so that things aren't held over you as leverage. Or perhaps you need to grow more in your work, to let your work take a bigger part in your life or take a bigger part in your work. Maybe you need to change jobs entirely. Maybe you need to take what you do into a different context where you have more choice. Which, as someone who's self-employed, it seems like it's always the right answer to me, but really it's not. It's every individual and every individual situation is different. So knowing that feeling of joy, that feeling of happiness in you is real, and being with everything, all the feelings, the judgments, and the support, and the love, and the creativity, and the excitement, and also all the negative stuff. Like I said before, things such as judgment, such as leverage, or being forced, or disrespect. Being with all those feelings now, and seeing everything existing with joy in the center, with gratitude in the center. Now take a few breaths and come back to the room, being with those feelings, by hearing what's in the room, smelling the smells that are in the room. Gently open your eyes and come back. So an awareness practice is probably the most powerful thing we can do for any part of our life, but especially for things that are really important for us, like our work. I hope something valuable came up for you. I hope I provided you with a decent starting place to discern what it is you really need in your work. And I hope that you tend to your own health through tending to your labor. So good luck to you. I love you all.